Good morning guys, and welcome to Damo Drives, bringing real world car reviews and answering some of those questions that maybe other channels aren't talking about. In episode 1 we took a detailed look at the styling and practicality, and now it's time to talk about 5 things you must know about the 2021 Seat Tarraco. This has to be one of the most comfortable cars I have driven in a very long time. We've got the optional sport seats, so they do look a bit better than standard. We get extra bolstering in the side, and they're really well padded, very comfortable indeed. Over on my side we've got some controls to change the lumbar support, the tilt, height, etc. And the great thing is you can actually save them as a preset. Steering wheel as well is a really good size. It's not too big. It's actually quite simple as well. There's not that much going on compared to some of the other Seat models I've driven. So over on the left hand side we've got controls to change the track on the audio and a little rocker switch to change the volume. Over on the right, this is where we control the digital cockpit, and this is a fun and rather cool piece of tech on this car. I really like this. It does elevate it into a different class to many of its competitors. So to change what you see in the middle, we've got 4 buttons over on this side, so we can scroll through what we can see here. So if I press this view button, as you can see, it changes the dials. So we've got more traditional circular ones, a bit more of a futuristic one with 3 tiles, and again you can change what you see there. So we go round again, we'll go over to this view. And then at the top here, if you want to change what you see in the middle, so as you can see I've got the map at the moment, use these arrows up here. So I can scroll across, we've got the radio, telephone, etc, etc. So that's really good. I love having the map in the middle, it looks best on camera as well. So that is everything around here. Paddles behind here as well for the DSG box. I haven't really left it in anything other than auto at the moment. I don't see the point because it's not that sort of car. It's a very relaxing, comfortable car that I'm really enjoying driving. I feel very relaxed indeed. You join me on the A27, a very boring and uninspiring dual carriageway. It's not the sort of roads I'd want to be driving on, but it's the sort of roads this car will probably spend a lot of its time. It's a 7-seater SUV, it's not a hot hatch that's meant to go down the country roads and put a big grin on your face. So let's talk about the technology that makes these sort of boring drives a bit more relaxing. To start off with, and the most important really, is the active cruise control. So I mentioned earlier the small square on the front of the car, the radar. So this is where it comes into play. We set the cruise control, which I do with a stalk just on the left hand side. So I'm going to pull that back and that will enable cruise control. I then use the stick either up and down to set the desired speed I want to be travelling at. So I'm going to go up to the speed limit, which is 70 miles an hour. The car will get me up to 70. Now, this is a really good example. That van in front of me is not doing 70. If this was normal cruise control, I'd have to brake manually, but this is monitoring that van in front and is slowing me down to keep me a safe distance between me and it, which is brilliant. So at the moment I'm doing 63 miles an hour. I haven't had to brake, haven't had to do anything, and this is a lot more relaxing. The road and wind noise is very impressive. I'm going to be quiet for a minute, and that's it. The only noise I could really hear was that bike going past. There's very little tyre noise. I thought there might be more with the 20s. I thought, oh no, it's going to be a bit noisy, but that is not the case whatsoever. Slight bit of wind noise, but it is a big vehicle and it is quite windy, so I'd expect that. So yeah, brilliant. And in terms of overall comfort as well, it is really well dampened. it's just a very good setup on this car. We need to find some slightly tight and twisty roads in a bit to see what it's like on the back roads, but it's not really going to be used there, is it? You might go down some back roads because you have to, but I don't think that's the purpose of this car. Look at that, this is the active cruise control slowing me down. I'm not braking at all now. It's going to pretty much bring me to a halt in a minute. So yeah, not accelerating, not doing anything. So there you go, that's the active cruise control. Again, another example of how relaxing this car is. Right, the next test is Granddad Damo's practicality test. I've got my amazing granddaughter who doesn't want to be here, so we're going to put her in the car seat and then we'll see if we can get a pushchair in the back. Oh no! You're going to go there. Oh, you can't cry. And then we'll get something in the boot. So waggle my foot around. That opens. Right, got a couple of things I want to get in. We've got a case and a pushchair. That's not going to fit, so I'm going to need to fold this down. Pull that, one of them. Got a pushchair off to one side, luckily. Oh, I'm going to hit my head again. That's the second time I've done that. So, there we go. Passed, other than hitting my head. Parking in such a big car might seem a bit daunting, but that takes me on to Damo's two favourite features about this car. I'm going to use the park assist. So over on the left I'm going to press the button which will then activate it. Now that's looking for a spot on the left hand side for me to park up. So I'm going to keep going till it tells me to stop, which it has done now. Put it in reverse, take my hands off the wheel, do absolutely nothing. This is incredibly nerve-wracking. Oh my goodness. See, I'm doing absolutely nothing. It's gonna be... Oh my goodness. So now it wants me to pull forward, so put it in D, straighten me up, and that's it. So we now want to get out of this spot. It's a bit tight, so we use the parking assist. So my second feature, we've got the parking cameras, and especially the 3D version. Now we had a cameras on both wing mirrors, front and back, and we use this section here so we can press on it and it gives you a top-down view of your car. And I can see everything around me, the curb, cars in the front and the back, and this is a lot easier to get out of this spot. You can go over to a 3D view as well and look at it from different perspectives. Don't like that one as much, so I'm going to go back over to 2D. And now I can pull away, so I'm going to reverse up, I can go back, I can see there's nothing behind me. And then when I go forwards, which is the most important thing because it's got quite a large nose on this thing, indicate out, I can see, I'm going to be very clear of that car. And there we go, no curbing of alloys, parking or getting out, no scratches, brilliant. So they were my two favourite features. The inside of the cabin is lovely, the digital cockpit, the touchscreen, very elegant lights. Seat have done a really good job. But then you come to your phone. There is no wireless charging, there's no wireless Apple CarPlay, and it makes a mess. You have to plug your phone in with a cable and it looks horrible. So that's one thing. The Leon and the Attacker both have it, so why doesn't this £40,000 vehicle have it? Yeah, not impressed with that one. It really does feel a premium place to be in here. You feel very special. You can tell it is a £40,000 car. In fact, it feels even more expensive than that. The fit and finish is brilliant. All of the touch points are very nice materials. The mixture of the digital cockpit, the touch screen, it just elevates it to the next level. This could easily be a £50,000 car. I really like it. I'm really impressed. But at the end of the day, it's a Seat. That's owned by Volkswagen. They make Audi, so we know it's going to be good. So overall, I think anyone who's going to sit in this driver's seat is going to be impressed with the overall experience of this car. So I thought I'd have a little break from the car and talk about something a bit less exciting, but probably one of the most important. That's the cost of the car, the general running costs. So I've got my notepad because there's a few numbers I want to go through, not in too much detail. I thought I was down by the sea, why not come down here and talk about it as well. So the vehicle I'm in is the top of the range model, so it's over £40,000, and that's a lot of money. But are you going to be buying this outright, or are you going to be buying on finance? Most people, I would suggest, probably are going to be buying it on something like PCP, and that's what I'm going to talk about. So 48-month term, you put down £5,000, you can do 15,000 miles a year, and you're looking at £467 a month. So that's not too bad really. Quite a lot, but it's an expensive car. If you can't afford to stretch that, let's look at the base model, which is the SE. So again, £5,000 down, 15,000 miles a year, you're looking at £283 a month. And at that point, I think that's actually pretty good value for money. There's not many 7-seaters out there, and for that, yeah, I think that's good. So that's the initial cost. You've still then got to think about servicing costs, etc. So they do offer a plan for that. So I get my notepad, which is being blown everywhere now. So you can have a service plan for £22.99 a month. I think that's for like 18 months, and that will cover you for the first 2 years of servicing. So definitely worth thinking about that over the course of the term. Don't have to worry about it, a big lump up front. Also, as standard, you get a 3-year 60,000 mile warranty. You can extend that up as well to 5 years and 90,000, and that's £835. And the great thing about that is, if you sell the car, you can actually transfer that warranty across as well. So again, it gives you a bit less to worry about over the course of the ownership of the vehicle. Next thing is tyres, because obviously they're not covered. These are the biggest at 20-inch, and you're looking at sort of a premium type brand is around £240 a corner, and if you want to get maybe a cheaper one, you're looking around £170. So not cheap, and certainly if you bought the SE, that number would be lower. The final thing I wanted to talk about was insurance. So I did a quote on this. I've got full no claims, 41, etc., and it was £630 a year. So again, not too bad considering the price of the vehicle. So there you go, that's the less exciting side of car ownership, but probably one of the most important. Getting a bit cold now, so we're going to head back to the car, and we'll carry on the drive. I'll put the heated seats on now because, yeah, it's very nice out here, but it is a bit chilly. I've now found some more interesting roads, not really the natural habitat of a 7-seater SUV, but why not? So we're going to go over to sports mode, so I just need to rotate this select around until it goes over to sport, as it has there. We might as well go over to manual, so I just pull a paddle and that's it. It will now come up with M, and we can progress on. Need to be careful because It's not like it's the most nimble of cars, this. But one thing that is good is the ride is slightly firmer than a lot of its competitors. I mean, not bad, because this road is very, very bumpy and I'm still incredibly comfortable. But it does mean it does handle slightly better in the bends. It feels a bit weird, a car this big going along these sort of roads. But as I said, it's probably not really where this car is meant to be. And let's get around this cyclist, give it some. That's not bad. Whoa, this feels pretty big there, squeezing down these narrow roads, but drop it down. Sounds okay. It's not a massive amount of steering feel, to be honest. Don't really know what's going on under those front wheels, but it's better than a lot of cars I've driven in this class. So yeah, I'm going to say you can sort of have some fun, but you're probably in the wrong car if you want to be driving down these sort of roads on a regular basis. So the question is, does Damo dig it? What do I think of the Tarraco? Well, overall, I think it's a brilliant 7-seater SUV. In fact, it's a very good 5-seater with a very large boot. I like the look of it. It's so comfortable both to drive and as a passenger. It's full of toys. And if you go for the base spec, you can have the SE for under £300 a month. So for that, I think it's good value for money. So overall, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. There's a couple of things I would have liked, such as wireless charging, wireless Apple CarPlay, and the touchscreen maybe is a bit fiddly. But that's me being really picky. But there we go, guys, that's my final thoughts, 8.5 out of 10. If you are interested in buying a new or used Seat, please give my friends at Seat Hendy a ring in Brighton. Details are in the description below and they'll be able to help you out. Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please give me a thumbs up. Comments are always welcome, and remember to click on the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.